Right, gang, let's dive in. Your low ticket offers job is not to teach. Okay, this is a massive misconception that I see people having when they're trying to grow their coaching business. The job of your low ticket offer is not to teach. The job of your low ticket offer is to shift beliefs. And when I realized this years ago, it had a massive impact on my business. And whenever I've taught anybody this or rehashed somebody's low ticket offer in this way so that you can instill these beliefs, it's always had a massive impact, right? So let's get straight into this. Now, like I said, people tend to try and teach, or just provide value in their low ticket offer. And the offer has to be valuable. But if all you do is teach, what you'll find a lot of the time is either, one, they will go through the low ticket offer, but there will be no demand for the high ticket, so people won't ascend, yeah? The second thing that can happen is if you teach too much, if your low ticket offer is very much how-to content, then people will go through it and they'll take it and they'll try and do it solo, right? So you don't want either of those things to happen. The way that we combat that, like I said, is to instill certain beliefs in the prospect throughout your low ticket offer. So you can get really strategic with this, yeah? But when you nail this like perfectly, a low ticket offer will just spit out high ticket clients. If you get this right, you'll have people coming to you. You won't have to take sales calls. There won't be any sales resistance. You can get people into your program with like zero friction, all right? So there's 6 beliefs, and I'm going to explain them to you now. I'm going to try and be quite quick because I always plan on doing like an 8, 9, 10 minute video, and it turns out as a 18-minute video. So let's get straight in, right? So the first belief that your low ticket offer has to instill is that this works because it just worked for me. So the easiest way to do this, and this is kind of the most obvious one, right, is you want to get them a quick win. Whatever it is that you're offering on the front end, it should get them a quick and tangible win. You don't want it to be something that gets them a vague result. You don't want it to be something that can get them a result over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You want to give them something that gets them a result, even if it's a small result, but you want it to get them that result like now. I always tell clients that you want to get that initial result within 7 days. Yeah, whatever it is that you teach in your front end offer, you want it to get your customer a result in 7 days or less. All right. Now, the second belief is you want them to buy your low ticket offer, dive into it, but then realize that the actual prize is something much bigger than what they came for. So again, this is why I always recommend teach something small, get them a quick win. A good way of identifying what this should be is to actually gear it, not around your whole process, but around the first step of your process. So I'll give you an example. Like, we help people validate their low ticket offer, come up with their milestone offer, build the cashback funnel, launch their ads, and ascend people into high ticket. That's our whole process. So a good idea for a low ticket offer for me would be you can create, launch, and validate your low ticket offer in 72 hours or less and have sales coming in. Yeah, you see how that's like, it's a quick win, but it's only the first part of the process. And what this does is it causes people to go through it, and then they're like, oh, okay, so I've got this initial result, but holy shit, like the result I could get is massive, right? That gets them excited and it gets them to want to work with you further, okay? Now, the third belief is you have to get them to see the gap. Yeah, there always has to be a gap in order to get somebody to take action. So they should come in, get that initial result, and then they see where they could go, and then you make them feel that gap. You have to get them to see what they're losing out on or what they're missing out on by not implementing your whole system. So just to use the same example, just in my niche for the sake of ease, if I was to help somebody create, launch, and get initial sales on their front end offer, my way of highlighting that gap would be, for example, like you've made your first 5 low ticket offer sales, right? But 1 out of every 20 of those people is going to become a high ticket client. So if you can get 500 low ticket sales per month, that's going to be 25 clients per month. Times that by your 5K offer price, that's 125 grand a month. You're currently at 5 grand a month, right? So you're losing out on 120 grand a month by not implementing this strategy. And what that does, obviously, it will get them to fill the gap, yeah? If there's no gap, you're not going to get people to take action, all right? So what you also have to get them to believe is, I cannot close that gap on my own, yeah? And this is a very easy one. Like, as you go through and you teach your methodology, you just have to get the prospect to realize that there are like so many parts of it that they're actually missing. Because here's the thing, whether you help someone build a business, whether you help somebody lose weight, whether you help someone improve their relationship, people always feel like they can either do it themselves or they can almost do it themselves. And this is entirely not true. Like, most people who come to me, like in terms of clients who want help, they're usually missing like 80% of what they need, yeah? But, you know, just to go off track a bit, I remember like when I first started my business, maybe a year in or whatever, I always felt like I was right on the verge of that big breakthrough, you know? And then I try something, it doesn't work. I try something else, it doesn't work. Try something else, it doesn't work. You know, and now I look back and I'm like, I was so clueless. So what you have to do is, as you go through and you kind of teach, you know, the system in your front end offer, you have to get the person to realize they're not going to be able to close that gap by themselves. Yeah. So for example, if somebody doesn't work with us, you're not going to get your milestone offer hashed out, get your funnel completely dialed in, do all of your ads in the right way, get all of your back-end ascension systems and webinars dialed in. Like, you're just not going to do it correctly on your own without wasting tens of thousands of dollars and years of time, right? And when people realize that, when you fill that gap, not just fill the gap, but also realize that you're not going to close that gap on your own, that's a massive lever that you can pull on in terms of getting people to buy, right? Now, the next one is, once they fill the gap, then what you need is to get them to come to the belief that there is a way to cross that gap, and it has worked for other people like me. Yeah? So this is the point where you would essentially give them a roadmap, right? Walk them through the proven system. Don't teach the whole thing in its entirety, obviously, but high-level steps to the proven system in a way that makes sense, that gets them to realize, yeah, this could definitely work. This makes sense. And then you want to show them people like them who have got the result that they want. So I'm not talking about pulling out your most impressive testimonials, right? I got a message not long ago from one of my clients, Josh, and he was pretty much starting from scratch when he came to me, and he sent me a screenshot, basically with £1 million in his Stripe account, yeah? And he was like, I just wanted to shoot you this, let you know I've just hit £1 million in this Stripe account. But the thing is, that wouldn't necessarily be a good testimonial for me to show to someone who is making 5 grand a month and they want to make 20 grand a month. Yeah, showing somebody like £1 million, you know, yeah, it's amazing numbers, but for a lot of people that will seem out of reach. So what you want to do is look at your customer pool, ask yourself what kind of result do they want, and then use testimonials that are similar to them, you know, who are similar types of people, started in a similar kind of starting point, right? And then got the result that they want. So that's what ultimately gets them to believe there is a solution to close this gap, and it's worked for other people like me, right? Now, the sixth and the last belief that you need to instill in people is that the time is now, right? The time is now. So the way to do this, really, I mean, we can get into persuasive copy and all this type of stuff, right? But the easiest way to do this is just with urgency. So what we basically do is, when somebody comes in through our front end offer, they go through the front end offer, and then we open up spots to our program with a deadline. Easiest way to do it. Okay, there's a little bit of tech involved, but it's the easiest way to do it, right? Like, if there's no urgency, people put it off until later. It's just human nature. It's not a criticism, it's just most people won't take action unless they're in a position where they have to take action, yeah? So the easiest way to get people to take action is urgency. Either urgency or scarcity or both, yeah? Like I said, you can also get into like certain copy strategies and talk about what they're missing out on, an opportunity cost, you know, the cost of staying where they are, the cost of continuing to do what they're doing. But I'm not going to get into that right now. But the main one is urgency. You have to give people a reason to move. Okay, so those are the six. You have to get them to realize that this works because it worked for them. Get them to realize, what's the second one? My mind's gone blank. Get them to realize there's a bigger result than what they came for. Get them to feel the gap. Get them to realize that they can't fill the gap by themselves. Get them to realize there is a solution and the solution can work for them. And lastly, get them to realize that the time is now. Okay? So you might want to write those down. I'm quite impressed that I remembered them actually, because I'm just talking shit off the top of my head right now. So I was thinking I'm never going to remember 6 in order. But those are the 6 things that you have to get your low ticket offer to instill in order to get someone to ascend to your high ticket offer. Because at the end of the day, listen, you can make as many low ticket offer sales as you like, but you're never going to make a ton of money from low ticket, right? Like if we make 100 grand in a month, maybe like 10, 15 grand of that is from low ticket, right? And that's just to liquidate ad spend. So if you're trying to make all of your money from low ticket, you know, you're pissing in the wind, as we say in England. And there's nothing more frustrating than making loads of low ticket sales, but then those people don't join your high ticket offer, all right? So go away, look at your low ticket offer, ask yourself, does it instill these beliefs in my customers? The answer is probably no, because it is for most people. Get those beliefs in your low ticket offer, and you'll see that tons of people are coming to you, joining your program. No need for twisting people's arms, no need for sales calls, none of that stuff, all right? So guys, that's everything for this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't liked this video, come on, what are you doing? Like the video, all right? But that's pretty much everything, guys, for this one, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.